What's up, Team Jazzy? Welcome back to another episode of Jazzyxcrime. Now, today's true crime case is going to be about the Cash App founder, Bob Lee. Now, there is so much information out there giving updates, and it can be confusing hearing an update from the middle of the story instead of the beginning. So this is what we know so far from the beginning. On April 4th, 2023, in the Rincon Hill neighborhood of San Francisco, a woman calls 911.
Copy. There's a male screaming help, saying someone stabbed me. He is not giving a 20. This is a cell phone site location. Advise he's bleeding out. Medics are route code 3. He's back. 1756. 365 Main, across of Folsom and Harrison. However, that's a cell phone site. We're still waiting for an exact 20. He is outside on the street.
Officers arrived and identified the victim as 43-year-old Bob Lee. He was bleeding with stab wounds, and they transported him to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Homicide investigation had surveillance cameras and his cell phone. The surveillance camera showed Lee stumbling around in search for help. He was pulling on doors, walking up the cars, holding his shirt up to show people right before he collapsed. So imagine being a female and a bloody man walks up to you at 2 a.m. You don't know if he's intoxicated or if it's a setup or what. So people were like trying to get away from him. And San Francisco's crime rate is high, so it would be no surprise if his death was connected to a random neighborhood crime. However, investigators were able to rule that out after looking deeper into Bob Lee's cell phone and seeing a text message from Kazar. I don't want to mess her name up, but so a woman named Kazar. But the text said, "I just wanted to make sure you're doing okay because I know Nima came way down hard on you. And thank you for being such a class man, handling it with class. Love you, selfish pricks." And she sent it around the same time he was murdered. So her brother is Nima Momini, who is actually Bob Lee's friend and is also into tech. Nima is a tech executive at the founder of Expand IT, which is a Bay Area technology and security company. And investigation shows that Nima confronted Bob Lee about doing drugs and inappropriate things with his sister, Kazar. So they decided to go for a ride where they took Nima's car, and video footage from Kazar's apartment building confirms Lee and Momina were at her place right before the murder took place. But they decided to take a drive, and he drove them to a secluded place, got out of the car, and 5 minutes later, Bob Lee is stumbling around looking for help. So a kitchen knife was found at the crime scene, but at the time of this recording, it has not been confirmed if that is the murder weapon. But your first instinct is to ask, why wouldn't these people just open the door? Like, why would they leave him and run from him? They could have saved his life. But unfortunately, the crime rate is bad in San Francisco, which is why Bob Lee even moved away from that area. Business owners in that neighborhood have already expressed that way before Bob Lee was even murdered. So their first instinct is to protect themselves and to protect their business. But Nima ended up obtaining a lawyer the next morning after Lee dies, and police took him into custody. So arraignment was continued to April 25th, so they held him in custody without bail. And on April 25th, his lawyer, Kenny, asked for more time and also said Nima will be pleading not guilty and asked that Momina be allowed to remain free during his trial. She said her argument is going to be that Nima is not dangerous to society and Nima is not a flight risk. Under the law, if those two criteria are met, then he has to be released from custody. But keep in mind, this is not Nima's first time attacking somebody. According to the police records show he was accused of attacking a woman in 2022, but no charges ended up being filed. So whoever this woman is didn't even file charges. His sister, Kazar, showed up to court holding hands with her husband. The next court date has been set for Tuesday, May 2nd, so we will know more. And if he is convicted, he will face up to 26 years to life in prison. There is so much more to unfold, so stay tuned for part 2. If you like to see more Bonnie and Clyde cases, click right here. If you like to subscribe to my channel so that you never miss another true crime, then click right here. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode of Jazzyxcrime.